A billionaire walked into a charity auction, bought a woman for $2, while 300 people laughed at her, called her worthless, pathetic, a joke. But what nobody knew, including the billionaire himself, was that this woman held the secret to saving his entire empire. And in 6 days, she would become the most valuable person he'd ever met. Comment below, have you ever been underestimated by someone who didn't know your worth? The Grand Riverside Hotel ballroom was packed. 300 of the city's wealthiest people. Designer gowns. Tuxedos. Champagne flowing like water. The annual charity bachelor and bachelorette auction, where rich people bid on dates with other rich people, all to raise money for underprivileged youth. They called it charity. But really, it was a status game. Who could bid the highest? Who could show off the most? Who had the most power in the room? And tonight's biggest player? Marcus Webb. 48 years old. Self-made billionaire. Tech genius. Built web technologies from nothing into a $7 billion empire. Owned half the patents for AI software used worldwide. But Marcus had a reputation. Cold. Calculating. Ruthless. He measured everything by numbers. Profit margins. Stock prices. Market value. People were just assets or liabilities. Nothing in between. The auctioneer stepped up to the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight. Let's begin with our first bachelor, Jonathan Bradley, CEO of Bradley Pharmaceuticals. The bidding was fierce. Jonathan went for $45,000. The next bachelor went for $38,000. Then the bachelorettes started. A fashion model went for $67,000. A news anchor went for $52,000. A restaurant owner went for $41,000. The crowd was loving it. Applause. Laughter. Competition. And then, she walked onto the stage. And the entire room went silent. But not in a good way. Her name was Claire Donovan. 36 years old. She stood on that stage in a simple black dress. No jewelry. No designer label. No makeup. Just, plain. Someone in the crowd snickered. Then another. Then the whispers started. Who is that? Why is she here? She doesn't belong with these people. The auctioneer cleared his throat awkwardly. Ladies and gentlemen, our next bachelorette is Claire Donovan. Claire works as a, file clerk at Morrison & Associates law firm. More whispers. More laughs. A file clerk. At an event full of CEOs and celebrities. Starting bid is $1,000. Do I hear 1,000? Silence. No hands. Anyone? 1,000 for a lovely dinner date. Nothing. All right, let's try 500. Still nothing. Claire stood there. Face burning. Eyes down. 250? A man in the back yelled, I wouldn't pay 25. The crowd erupted in laughter. Claire's hands were shaking. She wanted to run off that stage. Disappear. Never show her face again. The auctioneer was sweating now. Folks, come on. This is for charity. Someone give me $50. One hand went up. A drunk businessman, laughing. I'll give you $10. More laughter. Marcus Webb sat in the front row, watching this. He didn't laugh. He just watched Claire. Studied her. Something in her eyes. Even through the humiliation. Dignity. Strength. Steel underneath the shame. He raised his hand. $2. The room went silent. Then exploded. Did Marcus Webb just bid $2? That's an insult. He's mocking her. The auctioneer didn't know what to do. Mr. Webb, did you say $2? I did. Does anyone else want to bid? Silence. Everyone was too shocked. Going once, going twice. Sold. To Marcus Webb for $2. The crowd burst into laughter again. Applause mixed with mockery. People pulling out their phones to record. This would be all over social media by morning. Claire walked off the stage. Past the laughing crowd. past the cameras, past Marcus Webb, who was writing a check for $2. She didn't look at him, didn't say a word, just walked straight out of the ballroom. Marcus finished writing the check, handed it to the auctioneer, and followed her. He found her in the hallway, crying against the wall. Miss Donovan. She wiped her eyes, turned away. Don't. Just don't. I'm Marcus Webb. I know who you are. You just humiliated me in front of 300 people. For a joke. For $2. It wasn't a joke. She turned to look at him. Then what was it? Marcus didn't have an answer. He didn't know why he'd bid. Impulse? Pity? Something else? I don't know, he admitted. Well, congratulations. You bought me for $2. The cheapest date in history. Everyone's going to laugh about this for years. I hope it was worth it. She started to walk away. Wait, Marcus said. What? Let me make it up to you. Dinner. A real one. Not as a joke. As an apology. Why would you want to have dinner with someone you valued at $2? Because I think I made a mistake. And I'd like to correct it. Claire stared at him. This billionaire. This man who'd just humiliated her. Was he serious? Or was this another game? Fine. One dinner. You owe me that much. Tomorrow night. I'll pick you up at 7. I'm not giving you my address. I'll meet you at the restaurant. Marcus nodded. She walked away. And Marcus stood there, wondering what he'd just gotten himself into. What neither of them knew was that across town, in a dark office, someone was watching footage of the auction on their laptop, watching Claire's face, and smiling. Found you, they whispered, and picked up the phone to make a call that would change everything. Marcus chose the most expensive restaurant in the city, trying to make up for the $2 humiliation. Claire arrived in the same black dress from the auction, because it was the only nice dress she owned. They sat across from each other, silent, uncomfortable. The waiter brought menus, leather-bound, no prices listed. Claire looked at it and felt her stomach drop. Order whatever you want, Marcus said. Do you have any idea how much this costs? I own the restaurant. So no, you can't see prices. Just order what sounds good. Claire closed the menu. You own this restaurant? I own 12 restaurants. This is just one of them. Must be nice. Living in a world where money is meaningless. Money isn't meaningless. It's just a tool. Easy to say when you have billions of it. Marcus leaned back. You're angry at me. You bought me for $2 in front of 300 people. Yes, I'm angry. I didn't mean it as an insult. Then what did you mean it as? I don't know. I saw you standing there. Everyone laughing at you. And I couldn't watch it anymore. So you made it worse by buying me for less than a cup of coffee? I wasn't thinking about the amount. I just wanted to end the bidding. Stop the humiliation. By humiliating me more? Yes. I see that now. I'm not good with people. I'm good with numbers. With logic. But people? I usually get it wrong. Claire studied him. This billionaire, this cold, calculating man, was actually admitting weakness. Why did you really ask me to dinner? Because I saw something in your eyes. On that stage. Even while everyone was laughing. You had dignity. Strength. Something I don't see in most people I meet. You want to know the truth? I shouldn't have even been at that auction. What do you mean? My boss registered me. As a joke. Thought it would be funny to put the file clerk in with all the rich people. I tried to back out. But they said the registration fee was non-refundable. $500. And I couldn't afford to lose that money. So I went. Thinking maybe someone would bid something. Anything. And I could at least save some dignity. Instead, I got bought for $2 by the richest man in the room. Marcus felt like he'd been punched. I'm sorry. Are you? Or is this just another experiment for you? Study the poor girl. See how the other half lives. No. This is me realizing I'm an idiot. And trying to make amends. Claire almost smiled. At least you're honest about being an idiot. It's one of my few redeeming qualities. They ordered food. Started talking. Really talking. About life. About work. About everything. So why do you work as a file clerk? Marcus asked. Because it pays the bills. Barely. But it pays. You have a degree? 2. Accounting and business. Graduated top of my class. Marcus frowned. Then why are you filing papers? Because I have a gap in my resume. 5 years. Employers see it and assume the worst. Drug problem. Prison. Mental breakdown. They never ask. Just reject. What really happened? My mother got sick. Alzheimer's. Early onset. I quit my job to take care of her. Spent 5 years watching her forget me. Watching her disappear. She died 3 years ago. And when I tried to go back to work, nobody would hire me. Except as a file clerk. So here I am. Marcus sat back. This woman had sacrificed her career for her mother. And society had punished her for it. That's not right. No. But that's life. What if I could help? Get you a better job? I know people. No. No. I don't want charity. I don't want your pity. And I don't want you to fix my life because you feel guilty about $2. Marcus looked at her with new eyes. Most people would have jumped at his offer. But not her. She had pride. Integrity. You're remarkable, you know that? Claire blushed. I'm really not. Yes. You are. They finished dinner. Marcus walked her to her car. An old sedan. 15 years old. Rust on the doors. Thank you for tonight, Claire said. Can I see you again? She hesitated. I don't think that's a good idea. We're from different worlds. This was nice. But it can't go anywhere. What if I don't care about different worlds? You say that now. But eventually, you'd realize I don't fit in your life. And I'd be humiliated all over again. Better to end this now. She got in her car. Drove away. Marcus stood there. Feeling something he hadn't felt in years. Loss. He walked back to his car. Didn't notice the black sedan parked across the street. Didn't see the man inside taking photos of him. Photos of Claire. Photos that would be delivered to someone very dangerous. Someone with a vendetta against Marcus Webb. And plans to use Claire to destroy him. Marcus couldn't stop thinking about Claire. He sat in his office. Supposed to be reviewing contracts. But all he could see was her face. Her strength. Her dignity. Her refusal to take his charity. He pulled up her file. Claire Donovan. 36. File clerk at Morrison & Associates. But he wanted to know more. He called his head of security. I need a background check. Full history. Everything. He gave Claire's name. 2 hours later, the report came back. And Marcus read it with growing fascination. Claire hadn't just graduated top of her class. She'd been a genius. At 23, she'd written a thesis on financial fraud detection. Created an algorithm that could spot money laundering in seconds. Caught patterns that human accountants missed. Several major firms had tried to hire her. But she'd turned them all down. To take care of her mother. The algorithm had never been published. It was sitting in some university archive. Forgotten. But Marcus saw its potential immediately. This could revolutionize financial security. Save companies billions. He'd bought her for $2. And she was worth millions. Maybe billions. Not because of what she owned. But because of what she knew. What she'd created. Marcus picked up his phone to call her. But before he could dial, his assistant rushed in. Mr. Webb, we have a problem. What kind of problem? The SEC is here. They want to talk to you about irregularities in your quarterly filings. What irregularities? We've been audited 3 times this year. Everything's clean. They're saying there's evidence of fraud, embezzlement, money laundering. Marcus's blood ran cold. That's impossible. They have documents, transactions. They're saying you've been hiding money in offshore accounts. Someone's setting me up. That's what I thought. But whoever did this, they're good. The evidence looks real. Marcus's phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. A distorted voice. Hello, Marcus. I see you've met my friends from the SEC. This is just the beginning. By this time next week, you'll have nothing. Your company, your reputation, your billions, all gone, unless you do exactly what I say. Who is this? Someone you destroyed a long time ago. And now it's my turn. Click. Marcus looked at his assistant. Get me our lawyers. All of them. Now. There's something else, sir. What? The media has the story. It's going live in 30 minutes. By tomorrow, this will be everywhere. Marcus sank into his chair. Everything he'd built. Threatened by someone he couldn't see. Someone with evidence he couldn't explain. Someone who wanted to destroy him. And then he thought of Claire. Her algorithm. Her ability to spot financial fraud. If anyone could find the real culprit, it was her. He grabbed his phone. Dialed her number. It rang 4 times. Hello? Claire, it's Marcus. I need your help. Someone's trying to destroy me. And you might be the only person who can stop them. Claire met Marcus at his office that night. The building was mostly empty. Just lawyers scrambling. She'd seen the news. Everyone had. Billionaire Marcus Webb accused of fraud. Marcus looked terrible. No sleep. Stress written all over his face. Thank you for coming. I shouldn't be here. If you're guilty. I'm not. Someone planted evidence. Made it look like I've been embezzling for years. But I haven't. Why do you think I can help? Because I know about your algorithm. The one you created for your thesis. The fraud detection system. Claire froze. How do you know about that? I did research. After dinner. I wanted to understand who you really were. You investigated me? I'm sorry. I know it's invasive. But I needed to know. And what I found. Claire, you're brilliant. What you created could save companies billions. Could catch criminals that no one else can see. That algorithm is 10 years old. Outdated. Useless. Not if we update it. Modernize it. Apply it to my company's financials. Marcus, I haven't looked at that code in a decade. I don't even know if I remember how it works. But you could figure it out. Couldn't you? Claire wanted to say no. Walk away from this mess. But something in Marcus's eyes stopped her. Real fear. Real vulnerability. What exactly do you need me to do? Analyze my company's financial records. All of them. Find where the fake transactions are. Prove they were planted. And if possible, trace them back to whoever's doing this. That could take weeks. We have 6 days. After that, the board votes to remove me. And the company collapses. 6 days to analyze 10 years of financial records for a $7 billion company? That's impossible. For most people, yes. But not for you. You're putting a lot of faith in someone you bought for $2. I was wrong about your value. I'm hoping you'll prove just how wrong. Claire thought about it. This was insane. Reckless. Dangerous. But also, an opportunity. To use her skills. To matter again. To be more than a file clerk. I'll need full access to everything. No restrictions. No secrets. Done. And if I find evidence that you are guilty, I walk away and go straight to the authorities. Fair. All right. Show me what you have. Marcus led her to a conference room. Computers set up. Monitors everywhere. Stacks of printouts. Files. Documents. This is 10 years of financial data. Every transaction. Every account. Everything. Claire stared at it all. Millions of transactions. Billions of dollars. Finding fake entries in this would be like finding needles in a continent-sized haystack. I'll need coffee. A lot of it. I'll have it brought up. And food. I'm not leaving until this is done. Marcus smiled for the first time in days. Thank you, Claire. Don't thank me yet. I might be about to prove you're a criminal. Claire sat down at the computer, cracked her knuckles, and started typing. She didn't know it yet, but she was about to uncover something much bigger than financial fraud. Something that would put both their lives in danger, and reveal a conspiracy that went all the way to the top. Claire worked for 48 hours straight. Marcus brought her coffee, food, blankets, stayed with her the entire time, not working on his own cases, just being there. On the third day, Claire's eyes lit up. I found something. Marcus rushed over. What is it? Look at these transactions. Spread across 3 years. Small amounts. $50,000 here. $75,000 there. Never enough to trigger alerts. But consistent. That's the fraudulent money? Not exactly. These transactions are real. But they're creating a pattern. A signature. What do you mean? Whoever planted the fake evidence studied your real financial patterns first, then created fake transactions that mimic your behavior. Almost perfectly, but not quite. There's a timing discrepancy. 0.03 seconds. Barely noticeable, but consistent across all the fake transactions. So they used a script. An automated program. Exactly. And scripts leave digital fingerprints. Claire typed furiously, tracing the script, following the code. It led to a server, then another, bouncing across the world, hidden behind layers of encryption. But she was good, better than whoever had built this. Got you, she whispered. What did you find? The origin point, the computer that started all of this. She pulled up an address. Marcus stared at it. His face went white. No, it can't be. What? Do you recognize it? That's my former partner's office. Daniel Reeves. We started the company together 20 years ago. I bought him out 10 years ago. Paid him $500 million. Why would he do this if you already paid him? Because he wanted more. He thought the company should have been split 50-50. But he was terrible at business. Spent money recklessly. I had to buy him out to save the company. So he's been planning revenge for a decade? Apparently. Claire kept digging. And found something worse. Marcus, there's more. What? Daniel didn't just plant fake evidence. He's been embezzling real money. For 8 years. Siphoning millions through shell companies. Making it look like you did it. How much? $340 million. All traced back to your accounts. But actually going to his offshore holdings. Marcus felt sick. He's been stealing from me for 8 years. And framing me for it. And in 6 days, when the board removes you, he'll have complete control. He still owns 20% of shares. If you're gone, he becomes the largest shareholder. He doesn't just want revenge. He wants the company. Exactly. Marcus paced the room. We need to go to the authorities. Show them this evidence. There's a problem. What? All of this is technically illegal access. I hacked into private servers. Broke encryption. Violated federal computer laws. If we show this to the police, we both go to jail. So we have proof he's guilty. But using that proof makes us criminals. Yes. Then what do we do? Claire looked at the screens. At the evidence. At the trap they'd walked into. I don't know yet. But we have 4 days to figure it out. Because if we don't, Daniel wins. And you lose everything. Marcus's phone buzzed. Another unknown number. He answered on speaker. Daniel's voice. Hello, Marcus. I hear you've been busy. Found my little surprise, did you? Doesn't matter. You can't prove anything without admitting to crimes yourself. Checkmate. See you at the board meeting. Click. Marcus looked at Claire. He's been watching us. He knows what we found. Which means he'll be ready for whatever we do next. So we need to do something he's not ready for. Like what? Marcus smiled. A dangerous smile. Like turning his own trap against him. You said he studied my financial patterns. Used them to create fakes. What if we did the same to him? You want to frame him? I want to expose him. Using his own methods. Fighting fire with fire. That's incredibly risky. Do you have a better idea? Claire thought about it. They were out of options. Out of time. And Daniel was clearly several steps ahead. Unless they changed the game entirely. All right. I'll need 48 hours. Complete access to Daniel's digital footprint. And you'll need to trust me completely. What are you going to do? Something crazy. Something brilliant. And something that might get us both arrested. But if it works, we'll destroy him. Marcus extended his hand. Partners. Claire shook it. Partners. They got to work. Claire typing furiously. Marcus feeding her information. Neither of them sleeping. Barely eating. Racing against a deadline that could cost them everything. And 20 miles away in his mansion, Daniel Reeves was watching them on hidden cameras. Smiling. Waiting for them to make one mistake. So he could destroy them both. The board meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m. on Monday. 6 days after Marcus's world started collapsing. All 12 board members present. Plus lawyers. Plus Daniel Reeves. Marcus and Claire arrived together. The boardroom fell silent when they entered. Everyone staring at Claire. Who was this woman? Why was she here? Mr. Webb, the board chairman said. This is a closed meeting. Your guest needs to leave. Claire Donovan stays. She's integral to what I'm about to present. Daniel leaned back in his chair. Smiling. Let her stay. This should be entertaining. The chairman cleared his throat. Very well. Marcus, you know why we're here. The SEC has evidence of massive financial fraud. Embezzlement. Money laundering. All traced back to you. The board has voted. By a margin of 9-3, we're recommending your immediate removal as CEO. Unless you can provide evidence to the contrary. Marcus stood up. I can do better than that. I can prove who actually committed the fraud. And it's someone in this room. Daniel's smile didn't waver. Really? Who? You, Daniel. You've been embezzling for 8 years. $340 million. All while framing me for your crimes. The board erupted. Daniel laughed. That's absurd. I haven't worked for this company in 10 years. How could I possibly embezzle from it? Through backdoor access you coded into the system before you left. Access you've been using ever since. Prove it. Claire. Claire stood up. Plugged a USB drive into the presentation screen. Files appeared. Financial records. Code sequences. Digital trails. This is the evidence, she said. Every fraudulent transaction traced back to Mr. Reeves's personal servers. The board members leaned forward, studying the screens. Daniel's smile finally faded. Where did you get this data? From your own computers. That's impossible. My systems are encrypted. Not well enough. Daniel stood up. Ladies and gentlemen, what Ms. Donovan just admitted to is illegal computer access. Hacking. Everything on that screen was obtained through criminal means, which makes it inadmissible as evidence. The board members looked confused. The lawyers started whispering. She's right that I coded backdoor access years ago. But it was legitimate system maintenance protocol. What she did, breaking into my private servers, that's a federal crime. Daniel pulled out his phone. In fact, I have FBI agents waiting outside, ready to arrest both of you for computer fraud. Unless Marcus drops this nonsense and accepts his removal quietly. Marcus looked at Claire. She was calm. Too calm. "You're right, Mr. Reeves," Claire said. "Everything I showed you was obtained illegally, which is why I'm not using it as evidence." "Then what was the point?" "The point was getting you to admit you coded backdoor access. On camera. In front of witnesses." Daniel's face went pale. "What?" Claire smiled. "This entire meeting has been recorded. Video and audio. You just admitted to installing unauthorized access in company systems. That's a felony. Corporate espionage. And it gives us legal grounds to investigate your finances." Marcus stood up. "Which we already did. Legally this time. With warrants. Cooperation from the SEC. Everything by the book." He pulled out a folder. Slid it across the table. "That's a full financial audit of Daniel Reeves. Conducted over the past 48 hours. It shows $340 million in embezzled funds. All sitting in offshore accounts under his name." Daniel grabbed the folder. Flipped through it. His hands shaking. "This is, how did you?" "Once you admitted to the backdoor access, we had legal justification to investigate. Your admission gave us everything we needed." Claire walked around the table. "You were so confident in your plan. So sure we'd use illegal evidence. You built a trap for us. But what you didn't realize was, we built a trap for you. Everything we showed you first was bait. To get you talking. To get you to incriminate yourself. And you fell for it perfectly." Daniel looked around the room. At the board members staring at him with disgust. At the lawyers taking notes. At Marcus and Claire, standing united. "You can't prove any of this." "Actually we can," Marcus said. "The FBI you mentioned? They're not here for us. They're here for you." The boardroom doors opened. 6 FBI agents walked in. Badges out. Handcuffs ready. "Daniel Reeves, you're under arrest for wire fraud, embezzlement, computer crimes, and conspiracy to commit fraud. You have the right to remain silent." They cuffed him. Led him out. Daniel looked back at Marcus one last time. "You were always better at this than me." "No. I just found someone better than both of us." He looked at Claire. The board chairman stood up. "Well, that was unexpected. Mr. Webb, I believe we owe you an apology. The vote to remove you is rescinded. You remain CEO. With our full confidence." Marcus nodded. "Thank you. But I'd like to make a motion. To add a new member to the board. Someone who just saved this company. Claire Donovan." The board members looked at each other. "The file clerk?" one asked. "The genius," Marcus corrected. "Who holds 2 degrees, created breakthrough fraud detection software, and just prevented a corporate coup. I can't think of anyone more qualified." All in favor? 12 hands went up. Unanimous. Claire stood there. Stunned. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Marcus said. "Yes. Thank you. I accept." Applause filled the room. The woman who'd been bought for $2 was now one of the most powerful people in the company. But as everyone celebrated, Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Just 2 words. "Check Claire's background." Marcus stared at it. Then at Claire. Was there something he didn't know? Something she hadn't told him? After the meeting, Marcus pulled Claire aside. "We need to talk." "About what?" He showed her the text. "Someone's telling me to investigate your background." "Why?" Claire's expression shifted. Fear. Sadness. Resignation. "I was hoping this wouldn't come up." "What wouldn't come up?" "My past. The thing I didn't tell you. The thing that will probably make you fire me before I even start." They went to his office. Closed the door. Claire sat down heavily. 10 years ago, before my mother got sick, I worked for Morrison & Associates. The law firm where I'm a file clerk now." "I know that. But what you don't know is why I really left. I was an associate. Junior lawyer. Working on a major corporate fraud case. We were prosecuting a CEO who'd embezzled hundreds of millions. I was assigned to analyze the financial evidence. And I found something the senior partners didn't want me to find. Evidence that our client, the company suing the CEO, was also committing fraud. Bigger fraud. Billions, not millions. I went to the partners, showed them what I found, told them we couldn't ethically proceed. What did they do? They told me to bury it, destroy the evidence, keep quiet. They said if I went public, they'd ruin me, make sure I never worked in law again. So I went to the SEC instead, reported everything, the fraud, the cover-up, all of it. That was the right thing to do. Yes, but it destroyed my career. The law firm blacklisted me, spread rumors I was unstable, unreliable. No one would hire me. Then my mother got sick. And by the time she died, I'd been out of the profession so long, no one would give me a chance. Except as a file clerk. Marcus sat back. So you sacrificed your career to do the right thing. And got punished for it. Yes. That's why when you investigated me, you saw a gap. You assumed I was caring for my mother. Which was true. But it started because I'd already lost my career for being a whistleblower. Why didn't you tell me this before? Because people hear whistleblower and think troublemaker. I needed you to trust me first. To see what I could do. Then I could explain. Marcus stood up. Walked to the window. Thinking. You did the right thing. Twice. Once 10 years ago. And again this week. Both times at great personal cost. But now you're wondering if I'll do it again. If I'll find something wrong with your company and blow the whistle. Will you? Claire stood up. Walked over to him. If I find something illegal or unethical. Yes. I will report it. Because that's who I am. I can't look the other way. Not for money. Not for power. Not for you. Even if it costs you everything again? Even then. Marcus smiled. Good. Because that's exactly the kind of person I want on my board. Someone with integrity. Someone who can't be bought. Not even for $2? Especially not for $2. That's when I should have known you were special. You wouldn't take my charity. Wouldn't compromise your values. Not for anything. So we're good. We're better than good. We're partners. Real partners. Built on trust and honesty. Not just profit. Claire shook his hand. But Marcus pulled her into a hug instead. Thank you. For saving me. For saving the company. For being exactly who you are. She hugged him back. And for the first time in 10 years, Claire felt like she belonged somewhere. They pulled apart. Standing close. Looking at each other. Claire, I need to tell you something. What? This past week, working with you, getting to know you, I've felt something I haven't felt in years. Marcus, don't. I'm falling for you. I know it's crazy. I know we just met. I know I humiliated you for $2. But I can't stop thinking about you. About us. About what we could be together. Claire's eyes filled with tears. You're a billionaire. I'm a file clerk who just got promoted. We're still from different worlds. No. We're from the same world. The one where integrity matters more than money. Where character defines worth. Where $2 can lead to something priceless. I don't want to just work with you, Claire. I want to build a life with you. If you'll have me. Claire looked at him. This man who'd bought her as a joke. Who'd become her partner. Who'd trusted her when no one else would. Ask me again in 6 months. After we've worked together. After we've had time to be sure this is real. Then I'll give you my answer. But right now, let's just be partners. Let's rebuild this company the right way. With integrity. With honesty. And see where it leads. Marcus smiled. I can wait 6 months. For you? I'd wait forever. 6 months later. Claire stood in her new office. Not a board member's office anymore. Chief Financial Officer. Promoted again after revolutionizing the company's financial systems. Her algorithm, updated and modernized, had become industry standard. Saved 17 companies from fraud in just 6 months. Generated $200 million in licensing fees. And made Claire one of the most respected names in finance. She looked at the framed photo on her desk. The auction. That night. Standing on stage. Looking humiliated. Broken. Worthless. She'd kept it as a reminder. Of how far she'd come. Of where she'd started. Of the $2 that changed everything. Marcus knocked on her door. Got a minute? For you? Always. He walked in. Closed the door. So. It's been 6 months. It has. You said to ask you again in 6 months. About us. About building a life together. Claire stood up. Walked around her desk. I did say that. And. I've watched you these past 6 months. Seen how you treat people. How you've changed. How you lead with integrity now, not just profit. I've seen you donate $500 million to organizations that help displaced workers. Launch programs to help people with resume gaps. Create opportunities for people everyone else overlooked. I've seen you become the man I believed you could be. The man who saw worth in someone everyone else laughed at. So yes, Marcus Webb. Yes, I will build a life with you. Marcus pulled her close. Kissed her. A kiss 6 months in the making. A kiss that tasted like redemption and hope and new beginnings. I have something for you, Marcus said. He pulled out a small box. It's not what you think. Not yet. But it's important. Claire opened it. Inside was a $2 bill. Framed. Preserved. The original bill from the auction. This is the best investment I ever made, Marcus said. $2 that bought me everything that matters. You. Us. A future built on something real. I don't measure your worth in dollars anymore. But if I did? You're priceless. Claire laughed through her tears. You know what's funny? Everyone laughed at you for buying me for $2. Called it the worst deal ever. An embarrassment. A joke. But they were wrong. It wasn't the worst deal. It was the best deal. Not for what you bought, but for what you found. And what did I find? Someone who sees worth differently. Someone who values character over status. Someone who learned that real value can't be bought at any price. It has to be earned, respected, treasured. You taught me that, Marcus said. No. We taught each other. You taught me to accept help without shame. To believe in my worth again. To trust that not everyone values people by their bank accounts. And I taught you? That the most valuable things in life are often overlooked. Underestimated. Bought for $2 by people who don't know what they have. Until they do. Until they do. They stood there. In her office. In the company they'd saved together. 2 people from different worlds. Who found out they were from the same world all along. Claire. Yes. 6 months from now, I'm going to ask you something else. Something that requires a different kind of answer. Will you be ready? She smiled. Ask me in 6 months. But I think you already know what I'll say. Marcus kissed her again. And across town, in a coffee shop, a young woman sat at a table. Counting her change. Not enough for coffee. She looked at the help-wanted ads. Feeling invisible. Worthless. Forgotten. And a man walked up to her table. Excuse me. You dropped this. He handed her a $2 bill. But I didn't. You did. And you look like you could use a coffee. Consider it paid forward. The young woman stared at the bill. Then at the man walking away. And something in her heart whispered, this is the beginning of something. 1 year after the auction. The same ballroom. The same charity event. But everything was different. Claire walked in on Marcus's arm. Not as a joke. Not as a humiliation. As his partner. His CFO. His future. The crowd turned to look. Whispers filled the room. But not mockery this time. respect, admiration. Or, that's Claire Donovan, the genius who saved web technologies. She revolutionized fraud detection. She turned a $2 joke into a billion-dollar success story. The auctioneer approached them. Mr. Webb, Ms. Donovan, welcome back. I'm so glad you came. Wouldn't miss it, Marcus said. Will you be bidding tonight? Actually, we're doing something different. We're sponsoring someone. Claire gestured to a young woman standing nervously by the stage. The same woman from the coffee shop. Her name is Rachel. She's brilliant, overlooked, underestimated. And tonight, we're making sure she's seen. We've also made a change to the auction rules. Going forward, no one can bid less than $5,000. And all proceeds go to career development programs for displaced workers. So no one else gets bought for $2? The auctioneer asked. Claire smiled. Oh, I think $2 was exactly right. It taught both of us what we needed to learn. But yes, no more humiliation. Just opportunity. The auction began. Rachel walked onto the stage. Confident, dignified, valued. The bidding was fierce. She went for $35,000. To a tech executive who wanted to mentor her. Claire and Marcus watched from the back. You did a good thing, Marcus said. We did a good thing. Together. Think she'll become the next Claire Donovan? I think she'll become the first Rachel, whatever her name is. That's even better. Marcus pulled out the framed $2 bill. He'd brought it as a reminder. You know what this taught me? What? That value isn't about the price tag. It's about what you do with what you have. You took $2 of perceived worth and turned it into something priceless. Not just for me. For everyone. You want to know what it taught me? Tell me. That sometimes the worst moments of our lives are actually the best moments. That humiliation can become transformation. That being underestimated gives you the power to exceed every expectation. And that $2 can buy you everything that matters. Not because of the amount, but because of who's holding it. Marcus got down on one knee. Right there. In the same ballroom where he'd bought her. Pulled out a ring. Claire Donovan. You're worth more than all the money in the world. Will you marry me? The room went silent. Everyone watching. Claire looked at him. This man who'd humiliated her. Who'd saved her. Who'd partnered with her. Who'd loved her. Yes. 1,000 times yes. The room erupted in applause. People who'd laughed at her now celebrating her. The auctioneer smiled. Ladies and gentlemen, proof that the best investments aren't made with millions. They're made with faith. With vision. With seeing value where others see nothing. Claire and Marcus kissed. And on the screen behind them, a message appeared. The Claire Donovan Foundation, because everyone deserves to be valued. Not for what they have, but for who they are. Narrator. They said Marcus Webb bought her for $2. But the truth is, she was never for sale. She was always priceless. It just took someone willing to look past the price tag. To see the person underneath. To recognize that worth isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in character. In courage. In the ability to transform humiliation into triumph. Final comment. Have you ever been underestimated? Tell us your story below. Claire Donovan started that night as a joke. A file clerk bought for less than a cup of coffee. And she ended it as proof that value isn't given by others. It's claimed by yourself. Marcus learned that the best investments aren't the ones that cost the most. They're the ones that see what everyone else missed. And together, they proved something the world needed to see. That sometimes the most valuable things in life are the ones everyone else overlooks. Thank you for watching. Remember, your worth isn't determined by how others value you. It's determined by how you value yourself. And that's priceless. This story is dedicated to everyone who's ever been underestimated. Everyone who's been told they're not enough. Everyone who's been valued at less than their worth. You are priceless. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.